They once worked together a long time ago. They're not friends now. They don't like each other. And yeah, 50 has taken every shot, especially when Diddy has been on a documentary. I think a lot of people thought that he was just joking around. It turns out he's not. So this is actually a real project that's being made under his G Unit.
With the series, with the film.
I mean, I think the intention is to give a more full-bodied experience to what happened, from the people that agreed to sit down and to participate. And I feel like the film asks a lot of questions, maybe more questions are asked than answers given.
One tweet, not a press conference, not a lawsuit, not a leaked recording. One tweet, and the internet reacted like someone pulled a fire alarm inside a fireworks factory. The moment Diddy's son hit post and mentioned 50 Cent, timelines didn't. Scroll, they detonated, screenshots flew. Reaction videos spawned. Think pieces stretched their legs and started running marathons. This wasn't just celebrity chatter. This was digital thunder with Wi-Fi lightning. Because when a name like 50 Cent gets pulled into a tense online moment connected to Diddy's circle, social media doesn't whisper, it screams in surround sound. Group chats turned into war rooms. Comment sections turned into debate cages. And everybody suddenly became a certified motive analyst with a PhD in speculation studies. Some said it was harmless. Some said it was reckless. Some said it was strategic. Everyone said it was loud. You could practically hear the algorithm rubbing its hands together like a cartoon villain. This is the kind of online storm that doesn't ask permission. It trends first and explains later. Stay with me, because the reactions to the tweet became bigger than the tweet itself. The tweet dropped. And within minutes, it stopped being a tweet and started being a digital incident report written by 10 million unofficial investigators with 0 badges and unlimited opinions. This is the strange superpower of celebrity adjacency online. A normal person tweets, nothing happens. Someone connected to a headline-heavy orbit tweets and mentions another heavyweight name, and suddenly the timeline turns into a siren factory. The moment the 50 Cent mention appeared, social media didn't scroll past, it circled back, zoomed in, and hit replay. Screenshots multiplied like photocopies in a law office. Some people reposted it raw. Others reposted it with captions that sounded like movie trailers. A few added dramatic punctuation like they were paid by the exclamation mark. Context showed up late and underdressed. Reaction channels launched into emergency mode. You could practically hear the upload buttons screaming for mercy. Thumbnails appeared with shocked faces, glowing text, and arrows pointing at words like, "They discovered a hidden code in a cereal box." Titles promised full breakdowns of sentences that were shorter than a grocery list. That's not criticism, that's the modern content ecosystem working exactly as designed. Supporters of the poster said the internet was turning a casual or emotional post into a federal case made of emojis and assumptions. Critics said when you're connected to high-profile controversy zones, there is no such thing as a casual post, only public statements with consequences. Both sides spoke with the confidence of people who never doubt themselves and rarely doubt their Wi-Fi. The interpretation marathon began instantly. Tone analysis, intent analysis, timing analysis. People examined wording like literature professors grading a final exam titled, "What did they really mean? Was it sarcasm? Was it a jab? Was it a signal? Was it bait?" Online audiences don't just read text, they read subtext, metatext, and imaginary text. And of course, history didn't stay buried. The long public, well-documented tension and joke trading between 50 Cent and Diddy over the years got pulled back into daylight like archived footage in a documentary recap. Old clips resurfaced. Old interviews recirculated. Old punchlines got replayed like greatest hits albums. The timeline turned into a highlight reel of past friction, served fresh meme creators clocked in early and loud, fake press conference edits, mock tweet trials, split-screen reaction videos with dramatic music that made a single sentence sound like the opening line of a crime thriller. One viral joke claimed the tweet traveled faster than breaking news and hit harder than a podcast rant. Comedy is the internet's pressure valve. when tension rises. Jokes arrive wearing helmets. Comment sections transformed into debate arenas with no moderators and unlimited whistles. Some users argued that people were projecting huge consequences onto a small message. Others argued that in celebrity ecosystems, small messages can trigger big waves. Both arguments got thousands of likes. Agreement remained unemployed. Then came the proximity multiplier effect. When someone directly inside a controversial orbit references another major figure, the audience rarely reads it as isolated. They read it as connected, sometimes fairly, sometimes wildly. Association math online is aggressive. Two dots appear, and the internet draws a highway between them. Thread writers, the timeline historians, assembled. Breakdown posts mapping sequence, timing, related headlines, and prior exchanges. Some of these threads were thoughtful and careful. Others were built like conspiracy ladders, tall, creative, and missing a few screws. Both traveled far because structure looks like authority even when it's built from guesses. A new argument. Layer formed quickly, responsibility versus overreaction. One side said public figures and their circles must assume every post will be interpreted at maximum volume. The other side said the audience has a responsibility not to inflate every sentence into a scandal balloon. That debate burned hot and solved nothing, which is exactly how online debates like to operate. The sarcasm arms race escalated. Users posted that the tweet needed legal representation and emotional support. Others joked that the algorithm put it on a watch list and offered it a podcast deal. Hyperbole is the native language of trending topics. Nobody whispers when something trends. They shout with decoration. Reaction live streams added fuel. Real time. Panels debated implications, optics, strategy, and what this could mean. The most profitable phrase in online commentary. Possibility was treated like probability. Hypothetical became headline. That transformation happens so often. It should have its own warning label. Meanwhile, calmer voices tried to inject perspective, pointing out a critical distinction. Online storms are often driven by interpretation layers, not verified developments. But calm framing competes poorly against dramatic framing. One travels like a bicycle. The other travels like a rocket with sponsorships. Audience behavior followed the classic controversy pattern. Casual viewers became refreshers. Refreshers became trackers. Trackers became theorists. The deeper people go into a story thread, the more confident they feel, regardless of how much is actually confirmed. Familiarity creates the illusion of certainty. By this stage, the tweet itself was no longer the center of gravity. The reaction to the tweet was. The commentary about. The reaction was. The debate about the commentary was. This is escalation math. One post becomes a multi-layer content pyramid. Right now, we are still in reaction territory, not resolution territory. Noise is ahead of clarity. Interpretation is ahead of confirmation. And the loudest takes are not necessarily the most accurate, just the most amplified. After the first reaction wave hit, the story didn't slow down, it upgraded. This is the phase where the internet stops reacting and starts producing, not producing facts, producing content. The tweet was now raw material. And the content factories were running 3 shifts with no lunch break. Reaction channels didn't. Just post, they sequenced, follow-up videos, angle videos, counter-angle videos. What you missed videos about things nobody missed but everybody rewatched anyway. The topic turned into a content series before anyone confirmed anything. New. That's modern escalation. Repetition creates importance whether importance exists or not. Strange transformation happened next. The conversation stopped being about what was said and started being about what it could mean. Possibility took the driver's seat. Speculation grabbed the map. Certainty jumped in the trunk and nobody checked on it again. Live panels and social. Audio rooms filled up fast. Digital roundtables formed with creators, commentators, and extremely confident strangers speaking like insider consultants. Some tried to keep things grounded, repeating that interpretation is not confirmation. Others spoke like they had backstage passes to private conversations that may or may not exist. Volume often beat caution in those rooms. Then came the meta reaction. Layer reactions to reactions? Creators started criticizing other creators' takes. This channel is exaggerating. That page is minimizing. This breakdown is biased. That headline is reckless. The watchdogs got watchdogs. Commentary developed its own commentary ecosystem. The mirror started reflecting mirrors. Meme culture reached peak productivity. Fake courtroom sketches labeled the case of the tweet. Mock sports commentary clips calling it the tweet championship finals. Edited movie trailers where one sentence got treated like a season finale twist. One viral post said the tweet got more analysis than championship fight footage. When humor industrializes that fast, the topic has officially crossed into cultural event territory. Pop culture comparisons got wilder by the hour. Commentators compared the escalation to reality show reunion episodes where one sentence triggers 3 seasons of fallout. Others said it felt like a crossover between hip-hop beef culture and political press conferences. When analogies start stacking, attention is peaking. Another escalation engine kicked in: narrative stacking. People began attaching unrelated past tensions, jokes, interviews, and rivalries into one giant mega storyline. Separate moments got glued together with speculation tape. Some links were fair context. Others were creative writing with confidence. But once stacked, they traveled. As a package deal, credibility battles intensified. Who reported this first? Who framed it responsibly? Who added gasoline? Pages that used extreme framing got massive reach, but divided trust. Pages that used careful framing got moderate reach but stronger credibility among cautious viewers. Reach and trust rarely move in the same direction during controversy spikes. Clip distortion added more fuel. Short excerpts floated around without surrounding tone or pacing. A sarcastic line could look serious. A serious line could look sarcastic. Context, once again, showed up late and underfunded. The shorter the clip, the louder the argument around it. Audience camps hardened. Not just supporters versus critics, but interpreters versus skeptics. Both sides lacked full information. Perfect storm conditions. Sarcasm across the platforms reached elite levels. Users joked. The tweet needed a media agent. Others said it should release a documentary about its journey through the algorithm. One post claimed the sentence now qualifies for frequent flyer miles. Humor wasn't just entertainment. It was tension release. Then
Came the strategy debates. Was the tweet emotional, tactical?
defensive, provocative, accidental? Online analysts love motive analysis because motive is invisible and therefore infinitely customizable. When facts are limited, motive theories multiply like startup PODC ASDS. Prediction culture exploded next. Forecast threads appeared describing. Evidence levels were negotiable. Prediction content thrives best where uncertainty is highest. Algorithm behavior quietly poured. Gasoline on everything. Engagement spikes triggered recommendation loops. Debate posts got boosted. Reaction clips got surfaced. The system rewards emotional friction. That invisible mechanic shaped the battlefield. Comments saying this is blown out of proportion sat directly under posts with massive interaction counts. That paradox never fails. People complain about the roller coaster while buying another ticket. A countercurrent also formed, the restraint camp. These creators argued the escalation itself had become the real story, not the tweet. Their content didn't always trend, but it stuck with viewers. New reactions are enough. The story feeds on commentary energy instead of information. Energy. When the noise stopped climbing and started echoing instead, the story entered its most powerful phase, the consequence phase, not consequence like courtroom verdicts. Consequence. It doesn't disappear, it imprints. The tweet was no longer the headline. The reaction to the tweet became the headline. Then the reaction to the reaction became the headline. That's the triple layer controversy effect, where the original spark becomes less important than the wildfire it triggered. Online storms don't just burn, they redraw maps. The first visible consequence was narrative branding. People connected to the moment started getting assigned roles by the audience: instigator, overreactor, target. troll, strategist, victim. None of these. Titles are official, but online labels stick like permanent marker. Complexity gets flattened into character types. Because character types are easier to argue about, supporters of the poster frame the moment as overblown. Proof that the internet can turn a sentence into a saga faster than a streaming service. Critics framed it as careless. Proof that proximity to controversy requires precision in public communication. Same tweet. Opposite lessons. Both taught loudly. Trust recalibration followed quickly. Audiences started rating commentary sources like product reviews. Which channels exaggerated? Which ones hedged responsibly? Which ones admitted uncertainty? Which ones pretended speculation was insider knowledge? Credibility points shifted in. Others lost it at thumbnail speed. Reputation math kicked in next. Not legal reputation, public image reputation. Commentary spaces debated whether the moment increased perceived recklessness, increased perceived sensitivity, or simply increased perceived visibility. Image analysts, unofficial but extremely talkative, treated perception like a stock chart with emotional volatility. Relationship ripple effects spread outward. Associates, collaborators, and frequent co-mentioned figures got dragged into discussion threads whether they participated or not. Silence was interpreted. Neutrality was analyzed. Distance was measured like emotional mileage. Controversy has splash damage, wide radius, uneven impact. Audience behavior changed shape too. Casual viewers converted into monitor viewers. Not fans, watchers, trackers, receipt collectors. Once an audience shifts from entertainment mode to audit mode, every future post gets inspected like a contract clause written in small print. Fatigue arrived, but wearing irony. Comments saying, "This is getting ridiculous," appeared under posts with massive engagement numbers. Viewers claimed exhaustion while continuing to consume updates like episode drops. Outrage and entertainment share a waiting room online. Meme. Culture preserved the moment permanently. Not just jokes, formats, templates, reference captions. Once a controversy becomes a meme format, it achieves digital fossil status. Years later, people will reuse the structure even if they forget the details. That's how internet history gets archived, through humor compression. Another consequence is lens distortion. Future unrelated posts involving any of the names in this orbit will be interpreted through this controversy filter by some viewers. That's narrative gravity. One trending storm bends the light around future moments whether it should or not. Media behavior commentary increased too. Analysts pointed out how quickly speculation layers replaced verified information layers. The controversy became a case study in amplification mechanics, how speed, emotion, and algorithm incentives combine into narrative overdrive. The machine became part of the story. Prediction culture refused to leave. Forecast threads continued projecting next moves, responses, clarifications, clapbacks, silence strategies. Prediction thrives where certainty is scarce. Accuracy is optional. Confidence is loud. Platform learning also happened quietly. Engagement patterns teach recommendation systems. Topics mixing celebrity tension and name collision spikes get flagged as high interaction triggers. That means similar future posts may get boosted faster. The system takes notes even when users forget. A restraint movement gained respect in slower circles. Creators emphasizing verification, context, and reaction discipline built smaller but more loyal audiences. Not viral, but durable. Slow trust grows where fast hype burns out. Here's the deeper consequence most viewers miss: normalization. Risk. When every mention becomes a storm, storms lose scale. Audiences become desensitized. It takes bigger sparks to trigger the same reaction. Controversy inflation is real and expensive. And underneath the sarcasm, memes, and debate sits the quiet truth. Most viral controversies are driven more by interpretation energy than fact energy. The loudest phase rarely equals the most accurate phase. But volume writes memory anyway. The final aftermath rule is simple. Viral moments rarely end with cinematic closure. Echoes outlive explosions. If you made it all the way through this breakdown, congratulations, you didn't just watch a story. You survived the full internet reaction cycle. From spark, to explosion, to echo chamber, to aftermath. Not just what was posted, but how the machine reacted, amplified, distorted, and debated it like a championship sport. That's the difference between scrolling and actually understanding the storm. Now, if you want more deep dive breakdowns that cut through the noise instead of selling it, go ahead and smash that like button like it's been dodging context all day. Don't tap it gently, press it like you mean it. Because every like tells the algorithm you want sharper analysis, smarter heat, and drama decoded, not just drama repeated. Drop your take in the comments right now. Was the reaction justified? Overblown? Engineered by the outrage economy? I want your verdict, your theory, your media detective breakdown. The comment section is the strategy room and the jury box combined. The smartest takes get pinned. The sharpest angles get featured. The lazy takes get cross-examined by the crowd. Subscribe if you want ongoing coverage of celebrity clashes. Viral controversies, media pile-ons, and digital firestorms explained step by step, not screamed in all caps. Hit the bell so you don't show up late when the next headline. Grenade rolls across the timeline, because these moments don't send invitations. They trend first and explain later. Other channels chase noise. We map the blast radius. Other channels sell panic. We build the blueprint. More breakdowns are loading. More storms are forming. More reputation earthquakes are coming. This is Fame Blueprint, where the drama is loud, but the analysis hits. This hits.